Broadcasting from the heart of the Colorado Rockies, it's 4th and 99 with your hosts, David Slade, Keith Brookman, and Matt Stappiero. Now let's talk football here on 4th and 99.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 4th and 99. I'm your host, David Slade, and joined tonight by Keith Brugman of Rocky Mountain Sports Network and the Denver Bronco Roundup, and also joined by Kenny Kirkpatrick of K&K Sports. Gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, Dave. How are you?
Doing well. So Matt is chiming in, hoping we have a good show. So we'll try our best, boss man.
Matt, I do my best to fill in your shoes, buddy.
Oh, don't talk that long.
So, Keith, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Can't complain. The weather's nice. Starting to get on the mend after all the ailments. It seems like everyone's been going through. So we're all set to go for a good show, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I hope so. So just let everybody know we have decided to move this to a Monday evening show at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So Kenny will be with us every other weekend, and then we may either be Keith and myself, or we'll have another person join us, either someone from RMSN or somebody from K&K Sports maybe jump on with us. So, or
another special guest,
or anybody who wants to just get on here with us and talk some football. So if you want to do that, hit me up or hit Matt up or Keith or anyone. Just send somebody a message. So
there you go.
Everybody have a good weekend?
Yeah, worked. It was working weekend, but, things are going well, on the COVID front, the hospital, things are getting better. So let's hope that continues in that trend. And, it's the only thing we can hope for, right, is that it gets better and better as the weeks and months progress.
Yeah, definitely hope it does. So I think my daughter works hospital too. She says it's been slowing down a little bit on the number of cases. So maybe we're sort of coming out of this now, hopefully. So
wouldn't that be nice?
It definitely would be.
It's a long time coming.
Right. Now,
anybody catch the NASCAR race, or was I the only one?
Not this weekend. I watched Daytona 500, but I didn't. Did they have one this past weekend?
Yeah, we had Fontana, California Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I want to give a shout out Xfinity Series, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
A friend of mine that I went to grammar school and high school with owns a team, Alpha Prime Racing, the 44 team and the 45 team. Cesar Baccarella, Tommy Martins, and Kaz Gralla raced for them this week. So we wish them best of luck this upcoming year, and maybe work on something. See if somebody would want to come on one of the shows with you guys or whatever and talk some football, or maybe some NASCAR with Keith.
Now, are those car racers, or are they the truck series, or
that's the Xfinity NASCAR series. So
okay, so it is the cars.
The Saturday, one level below, almost like the minor leagues. I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
it used to be they didn't have it. It used to be, like you said, it was the truck series that they were pulling out of and the like. You get some guy off a dirt track. Now they developed that Xfinity series. It's actually pretty good. Watched a little bit myself. I had a racer I was interested in because my kid was a type 1 diabetic, and he was type 1 diabetic and racing for Tandem, which is a diabetes monitoring company type of medical supply company. So
that's pretty cool. But who won?
When it came down to the NASCAR race, oh geez, who did, was it? Tyler Reddick, I believe, that came in. Yeah, Tyler Reddick is the one who won. Oh no, I'm sorry, Kyle Larson.
Tyler Reddick blew a tire.
Yeah, Kyle Larson ran over his own teammate with about 3 laps to go. He ended up finishing probably 3 or 4 laps down, and ended up taking first place. It was quite interesting.
I was rooting for Bubba Wallace at Daytona. Boy, he almost got it too.
Yeah. That was wild. At the end of Daytona was kind of crazy, especially.
It definitely was. So
1 through 10. Well, that got off topic.
Yeah, definitely did. But hey, this is a football show, but we'll talk anything. So
Yeah, there you go.
We're not above anything. So
We're not shy.
nah, NASCAR's all right every now and then.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's nice sleeping TV. You know.
Yeah.
Now is Fontana, is that a road course or is that just an oval?
That's a speedway, yeah.
You're
But
around in circles,
it's a tricky speedway though, man. They were having a hard time. There was guys that were just spinning out, just losing control of the vehicle. The seams on it and the lines on it. It's a different speedway.
Now, have you ever been to a NASCAR race in person, Keith?
I have not.
And I haven't either. Kenny, have you?
No, and the closest one to me would be about either Virginia or Delaware, so probably between 2 and 3 hours away.
Oh, that's not bad.
But I'm gonna, now that my friends are racing and they got a 2-man team this year, I may see if he's actually going to race and maybe get some VIP treatment from like my good friends over there at Alpha Prime.
A little garage pass action.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Let's see what happens.
See if they could hook me up with some tickets for Kansas.
Okay.
Because that's about probably 4.5, 5 hours from me. So me and my wife were actually talking. I want to go to at least one NASCAR race, sort of on my bucket list. I think it'd be pretty cool. When I was down in Texas, down in Dallas, Fort Worth area, we were there and we went and checked out the track down there. I mean, it was in the middle of the week, so there's no racing going on, and you couldn't go out on the track for the race, for the cruise around, because it was raining. So, but it was still cool to just see it and how ginormous those super speedways are, man. Crazy.
I think my closest would be a next week's race, which would be Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect reason to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, just another reason, right?
Well, well, closest name-wise would be Fontana. You could just put,
Yeah, exactly. Go from Montana to Fontana. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. So, all right. Hey, let's talk some football.
Let's go for it.
You got an interesting story for us. Going to fill us in, catch us up on some NFL games next year.
Yeah. Well, I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinion. So, this is kind of in the works. It was delayed a little bit with the pandemic, like a lot of things. But next year, we're going to have 5 international games. Teams have been announced for those, at least the home teams. So we're going to have the Cardinals in Mexico, the Packers and the Saints in London, the Jaguars at Wembley Stadium, also England, and we have the Bucks, who are going to be playing in Munich, Germany.
Oh, okay. So the visiting teams have not been decided yet.
The visiting teams will be announced along with the schedule announcement.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. So that they just kind of got to jump on this. So the way this is going to work is for the first 8 years, the league selects 4 teams. This year we got 5 because the Jaguars are volunteering.
Right.
From a conference to host 9 regular season home games. This year it'll be the NFC, and next year it'll be the AFC.
Oh, wow.
Vice versa, until we go through all the different conferences. Only one team has not ever played an international game. Anyone want to guess who the one team is who has not played an international game?
I'm going to say the Chargers.
I'll say the Patriots.
You guys are both wrong. But, I mean, it was only one team. I mean, it's really tough to guess. It's the Packers.
Really?
So, yep. Packers have never played an international game. So
did you see the promo picture with the 4 players doing the reenactment of the Beatles album, where they're walking across the street? Have you seen that?
No.
Now the big controversy is Aaron Rodgers isn't in the picture, so that means he's not coming back to Green Bay.
Oh, jeez.
You know who sent me that first thing this morning?
Who's that?
Take a guess. Who do you think?
Matt?
Yes.
Yeah,
it was Matt. I'm like, come on, Matt. You guys are reaching a little bit here, man. You guys just trying to stir stuff up. So.
Oh boy. So I guess this is, we had NFL Europe at one point.
Right.
Now it's kind of funny. We're kind of returning there. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion. This is obviously going to continue to progress and go into different countries and different spaces, and we're going to have more and more regular season home games being played abroad. What's your guys' opinion on this?
I like it. As long as it doesn't start interfering, with teams and their quality. I mean, you travel to Germany, that's what, 16, depending on where you're coming from. I mean, 16 hours,
Yeah.
I mean, so hopefully so you come off a game, let's say you play Sunday, you're going to play the following Sunday probably, or maybe I don't know if they want to do a Monday, but you couldn't really do Monday because it would have to be aired so early in the morning here. I mean, so nobody would be able to watch it. So they're playing a Sunday game, so they have a short week. They travel, London to Germany. I mean, you travel to Germany 16 hours after a Sunday game. You probably don't fly out till Monday. Then you go over there, and you play. You have to have a bye in there somewhere. Well, either on the front end or the back end, you have to have a bye to let these players relax a little bit. So
yeah, it would be nice. It just doesn't seem like the NFL's ever really taken that into account. Even when Thursday night started rolling around, everyone said, well, they should put the bye in there someplace, and give them an extra break. That never happened either, though.
Right. I mean, what do you think, Kenny?
I got mixed feelings about it. And my mixed feelings about it is, if you're a Jaguars fan, let's hypothetically speak, let's say I'm a Jaguars fan. Every year they're playing a game out there in London.
They're planning on playing too.
It's the only place they can get fan support.
Right.
The Jaguars are planning on volunteering for two games every year.
Wow.
Yeah. That takes away, season ticket holders. But the game I'm looking at, Packers and Saints. Like, if let's say the Packers are home, I look at it like maybe the preseason games should be played over there. We're not seeing, their football, soccer. We don't see Chelsea and Manchester United playing over in LA or New York. They're not coming over here to play, for example.
Well, we get those friendly matches every now and then where
friendly, exactly.
Like so here in Colorado, like Man U will usually come over and they'll play the Rapids and
right, like a friendly, That's what I'm saying.
Arsenal,
maybe some preseason games as opposed to middle of the season, which could be very important. Like you're saying, to travel to Germany 16 hours, teams are going to definitely be jet lagged.
Yeah, I mean,
coming and going.
And anybody out there listening, let us know what your thoughts are on this. I see Kenny's point, and maybe the preseason is the good time to do it.
Yeah, and we've done that before.
Just
if you
move
remember
all the preseason games international.
I mean, you could expand it a little bit more that way. But if you remember, Terrell Davis got recognized when he had that great preseason
in Japan.
tackle in Japan. You know what I mean? So we have done that in the past.
And if we're so torn on getting teams to London and Germany, why not bring back NFL Europe as in like a minor league type of thing for the NFL? Pair it up like.
Yeah, I mean, when was that? Was that the 90s they were doing that?
Yeah, big time in the 90s. Yeah.
So, and I think American football's probably become a little more popular over there. So maybe it would work better this time. And maybe that is a good place for some developmental teams over there.
Well, and then this kind of leads me to the second question. Does this open up the door even more for the USFL?
I think so. I mean, if the USFL's smart, they'll jump on it and go play some games over there.
Well, I mean, USFL is jumping on board and playing all the games here, and that's what I mean.
Well,
now all of a sudden you have like this where we used to have NFL Europe, and it was kind of a minor league system abroad, and it didn't seem like it worked. Now we kind of have the USFL, and it's here. It's in our backyard. Is that?
But they'll be going at a separate time from the NFL.
Oh yeah,
it'll be springtime. But XFL, I mean, and the XFL is entering into a partnership with the NFL. So
correct. It's just really odd, to me. I loved NFL Europe. I loved all the guys. I mean, we wouldn't have John Kitno, we wouldn't have Kurt Warner, we wouldn't have just a ton of guys that came out of NFL Europe. So
yeah.
I think the USFL has a chance to succeed if run properly.
Yeah.
Baseball is having its struggles now. And me, as you know, me as a baseball fan, I'm losing interest in it day by day. But because of our shows that we do, I got to talk about it. But
right.
as an interest as a fan, if I was just a fan, I would honestly think about boycotting baseball and, what can I watch in its place?
Well,
the SFL is sitting there.
Yeah,
Let me give it a shot.
Yeah.
And it's just a fun factor of the team names being back. That's just,
right.
From back in the day.
And the thing is, I mean, the owners of baseball come out and said, we're okay with losing the first month or two of baseball. I mean,
yeah, they are.
Yeah.
The fans need to step up and say, we're not, and boycott the games.
Right. And say, well, if you do that, we won't come to the remainder of your games. Because somebody brought up a good point, and I know we're way off topic here, but somebody brought up a good point. Baseball does not make a lot of money off TV revenue. Most of their
I can't imagine they would.
Most of their revenue comes from, from the games, from spectators.
Yep.
From the gate and beyond, right?
Right. So if you start punishing them and not paying them, but it's always a good thing to do on a summer weeknight, nice cool night, maybe about 60 degrees. You go sit out at the ballpark, have a few drinks, eat a hot dog and, catch up with friends and stuff. So
it's time to go to the independent leagues, watch some of those games and have a night out for $20. That's the way to go.
Yeah. But I'm excited, Keith, to see how this whole thing works out with, especially how much they're trying to expand the international thing now. I remember, you'd have a game in London, you'd have a game in Mexico. But now they're trying to reach out further. So it's going to be interesting, see how it works and see how the players start reacting to this. It's like the 17th game. The players were not happy about the 17th game. I mean, and it's like some of these things are just being rammed down players' throats. Now you're talking about increased travel and everything else, and people get tired and get out of their routine, and injuries start to happen and things like that. So it's going to be interesting.
How many of those guys will actually kind of like that, though? Getting a chance to go abroad, I guess if I'm a second string guy, man, getting to go to London and Germany and who knows where else,
I'd
Mexico.
Be good with that. Yeah, the first time it'd probably be cool. Then after that, like the Jags, I mean, if they're going to volunteer for 2 games every year, I mean, the players may get tired of that after a while. They may say, I don't want to do this twice a year. Once every 3 or 4 years would be fine. Just rotate everybody through. So
I'll be honest, the biggest thing for me was always that home game. When you lose that home game to someplace over in Germany, I mean, that the Broncos fans aren't going to be showing up and rallying in Germany. They're just cheering football. They're just happy to see either side. It's not like a home game. Simple as that. You know what I mean? So I was always, I will say last piece, you can actually take one game on your schedule and say, you can't make me play that internationally.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that gives you a little bit of flexibility, I guess. So
yeah.
Yep.
All right. Kenny had an interesting topic. We'll sort of switch off the NFL, but we'll still talk about football and a little college football news.
Want to do the college football side? No, I read last week, and I brought this topic up on Wednesday with the guys on my show. Expansion got declined. They're going to stick to 4-game playoff. And the question I had, Dave is a LSU fan, so it's good to bring him up. And then, Keith, I know you're up there in Montana, so I know you're, I don't know which division, which team you root for, but I know you root for Montana State over there, right?
Yes, sir.
But the question I had is this going to hurt like a conference like the SEC, for example, where they get 2 teams in every year, but now that Texas and Oklahoma are going to be coming into the division, you've got this super conference in the SEC. If these teams are going to be beating each other up and all having 2 losses, are they still going to get 2 teams in? And is it going to hurt them in the long run? And should they maybe have went to a 6 or an 8-game playoff?
I mean, I think expansion was necessary. I think it was due. I mean, but I don't think it's going to hurt the SEC at all. The SEC is always going to have 2 teams in there, in my opinion. Because you play the toughest schedules, and when it comes out of the calculator, and they figure out strength of schedules and everything else, the SEC always, the cream always rises to the top, and that's why I wish they would have went ahead with the expansion and did at least 8 teams, where each Power 5 team or conference gets an automatic berth, just like in the NCAA basketball tournament. If you win your conference, you get into the tournament. So, and then you have 3 at-large bids, where you can either go other Power 5 schools or non-Power 5 schools or whatever. But I don't think in any way that this is going to hurt the SEC. I think it's going to hurt conferences like the Pac-12, and the Big 12 when they lose their powerhouses, like Oklahoma and Texas, when they go into the SEC, then who's the Big 12 really going to have that's going to rise to the top and earn a berth, So it might end up being a playoff between the Big 10 and the SEC. So Keith, your thoughts?
I think that, well, in my opinion, I don't agree with it. I think there shouldn't have been. I think they should have been expansion, but I think for me it's just a gradual expansion, right? Just add 2 teams this year, and see where that gets us. Excuse me. For me, I don't think it's going to hurt the SEC necessarily. I don't agree completely with Dave. I don't think they're going to have 2 teams every single time, but I think at the same time it's
okay. We'll say 90%.
Okay, I could see it flip-flopping every other year, you know what I mean? Literally having a couple of teams, because a couple of different things are going to happen. A, you're going to get that much more competition in the SEC. Like you said, you're going to kind of knock it out and drag it out in between each other. If all these teams are leaving, it's going to only allow for more undefeated teams in other conferences. And if that's the case, then you will see where maybe you only get 1 SEC team in 1 year. But I think the biggest thing is that, it's always been Alabama, Georgia's been coming on pretty strong as of lately, but the SEC's been dominated by 1 team. I think by this influx, just talking not necessarily about the playoff scheme, but the teams moving over, I think you'll see a little bit more adversity, I guess you could say, in that conference too.
Yeah, and it may shake out that way when Oklahoma and Texas finally get there, which that has been delayed till either 2024 or 2025 because Oklahoma didn't have the funds to pay the buyout to the Big 12, and Texas wouldn't pay it for them. So, so they had to delay the thing because the SEC said, well, you both come over at the same time. We're not getting it.
So the reason why I think it hurts certain conferences, SEC, for example, and Big 10, for example, is you're going to have, I'm not even talking about Oklahoma and Texas coming in, but a team like LSU, you got a new coach there. Kelly's coming over to coach LSU. It's probably going to take them a couple of years to possibly get to that elite level where they were with Joe Burrow and Jefferson and those guys. So what I mean by elite level, if they have 3 losses, and they're not in the playoff.
Well, right, but
these other teams, I just feel are going to have an easier path. USC and Oregon are probably going to be there to the end in the Pac-12.
The Pac-12's had easier paths the whole time. Have never put anybody into the playoffs.
They have never got anybody there.
And you have the East and the West in the SEC, and you have one dominant team in each of them right now. You got Georgia and you got Alabama. And if both of those teams, make it through the regular season pretty much unscathed, or maybe with 1 loss, and then you go to the SEC championship and you're ranked 1 and 2 and number 2 wins, then they just flip-flop, and then you got 2 teams in again like you did this year.
I'll admit I was wrong about Cincinnati, and hats off to them. They're moving to the Big 12, but I think those smaller conferences, you won't see that again. But a team like Clemson, a team like Ohio State, a team like – I'm saying if in the USC or Oregon have a good year and they have 0 or 1 losses, that's going to hurt the SEC in trying to get 2 teams in when they're most deserving to get those 2 teams in.
Right.
Because they're top 10 teams all year, but they're beating each other up. And instead of having 8 teams and you get 3 or even 4 SEC teams in that are deserving, you're going to have 1, maybe 2 if you're lucky. And a team that's going to get hurt big time by this, and I'm okay with it, Notre Dame. They need to pick a conference, and until they pick a conference, they should not even be allowed in the playoff. That's my opinion, because they do play some of the lower tier level teams in the ACC and AAC and Pac-12. They're playing Stanford every year, and Stanford's barely a 500 team. They're playing Georgia Tech every year.
Right. See, and you just made the whole case against the SEC or the Pac-12 right there. Their strength of schedules are so weak.
Yep.
I mean, there's not a lot of good teams over there, and it seems like every team always trips up somewhere, and they never have somebody who goes through the season undefeated. So, I'm disappointed that they didn't expand. I hope they really bring it back on the table here in the next couple of years, because I'm surprised that they didn't, because of the revenue it would have generated.
Right, and I'm surprised. And the last thing I would say on it, I wish it was 8, because your SEC would get easily 2 to 4 teams in every year, and deservingly so. And an SEC team with 3 losses can upset the number 1 team, as opposed to like Cincinnati last year getting in and just being manhandled by Alabama.
Right.
So, that's how I feel on that topic. So.
And I'd say I'm just on the side of the NCAA and saying just expand it by 2 games and then see how that goes. I mean, I know that we don't want to rush things forward. We don't all of a sudden want like a 16-game playoff series next year. So let's just slowly expand it and put it in position to where it feels good. And maybe you stop for a little bit,
Yeah. So, all right, gentlemen, you ready to do some drafting?
Oh. Sure, I'm ready.
All right. Oh, this comment right here, and John Beelan, yes, we did sign Kenny to a 6-figure deal. So
I took a little less than Aaron Rodgers, John, but we did some negotiating. It was some hard negotiating, but I took a little less than. But I got more years, but less money.
So, all right. So everybody out there, last week we started doing our mock draft. We did picks 1 through 4. Keith, you had picks 1 and 4, correct? You had Jacksonville and
the Jets.
And the Jets, yes. And then Kenny had Detroit, and I had the Texans. So today we got picks 5 through 8. So I'll have the Giants at 5. Kenny will have Carolina at 7. Keith will have the Giants at 8. And I will have the Falcons at 7.
6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8.
Yep, and I'll have the Falcons at 8. All right, so we'll get started. And I know Kenny's interested to hear these. These picks right here. So especially 5 and 7. So let me know how I do here, Kenny. So,
diddling.
The Giants, they have some holes to fill. They need some interior offensive line. But everybody needs to have good edge rushers, in football anymore. So I'm going to go with the edge out of Purdue, George Karlaftis, for the Giants at pick number 5. So what are your thoughts on that, Kenny? As a Giants fan, would you be happy with that?
I would be happy with that, because he would be my number 1 edge rusher. After the 2 that were taken, he'd be the top edge rusher on the board, and he is in need. We do have some needs. And I think we could fill in another need at number 7. So I am happy with that pick. I do think the Karlaftis has a lot of upside there. And because he played at Purdue, he didn't get the national recognition like he would get if he was on an Alabama team or an Ohio State team. So, or like anybody in the Big Ten, Michigan, Purdue's a middle-level team there in the Big Ten. So I don't think he got much of the national recognition. And I think he could be a sleeper in this draft, so I do like that pick.
Okay. All right, Kenny, you're on the clock with the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, this is tough. They got a new offensive coordinator over there. My good friend, not Mr. Ben McAdoo, is going to be calling the plays there.
So. You're not a Ben McAdoo fan?
Well, I thought
I'm
about
surprised.
it. I was thinking, do I go out and get Geno Smith and draft elsewhere, or do I draft a quarterback? And I thought about it, and Ben tried his hardest to get Geno Smith, but Matt Rule and the GM in Carolina had some sense, and they talked Ben McAdoo out of it. So they're going to go with a fresh new quarterback, and one that I think has got the most upside in this draft. I'm going to take Malik Willis here at number 6.
Ooh.
Boy, Matt is not going to be happy with you.
I think it could be the next, like Kyler Murray type quarterback. I think he fits a small market team in Carolina. He's got DJ Moore. He's got McCaffrey over there still. I think they can do some wonders there with the college coach Matt Rule, and maybe going forward there getting some starts in there halfway through the season.
Yeah,
they're in rebuild mode, so I think they'll try with this quarterback.
And your friend John Beelan says McAdoo was a solid OC, though.
He wasn't terrible with the Giants. He wasn't nearly as bad as Shermer and Judge. I will say that. He got us to the playoffs. We got crushed against the Packers that game, but he did get us to the playoffs.
So of the 3, you're taking Ben McAdoo.
Yes.
That's
why gun to my head. Yes.
That's why Dave said, "Oh, you're surprised, Keith." Honestly, I didn't. Out of the tenure that you've had lately, you can't be too upset about a Ben McAdoo.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
All right, back on the clock. The New York Giants with pick 7. Keith, what are you doing here? Because we can't trade.
Yeah, I know. And now Malik Willis is gone.
Right. Hey, Kenny, let me ask you a question. Is this an ideal spot for the Giants to trade out of here in real life and get some additional draft capital?
I think so. It's depending on what, unless the guy that they want falls to number 7, I would be taking offers at number 7, because if Carolina takes a quarterback, that may be the domino effect there, and 7 could be a prime spot for a trade back if somebody really wants one of these quarterbacks. Even number 5 to get ahead of Carolina. I think the Giants got those 2, 5, and 7 there spots for a trade back.
Well, where are you going to go here then, Keith?
Man, and there's a lot of places we can. I guess I can't go edge rusher. The one thing I was surprised of, we already have 3 off the board. Look at that.
And this is a deep edge rusher class too.
Yeah. I agree. I just was surprised. I mean, you typically see that. You know what I mean? I mean, I know they're becoming more and more important, but we're through 5 picks, and all of a sudden we've got 3 edge rushers and 5 picks. So
right.
Malik Willis, I think, was even a kind of a surprise. I know the Panthers are in some need, but I don't know if that would have been the first pick that everyone would have taken as far as a QB. But I digress. I'm back on with the Giants, and the Giants need help in a lot of different places. They also need a QB, possibly. There's rumors. Tight end, defensive end, edge, offensive lineman. We've got some edge help, so I'm gonna go to the offensive line. I'm gonna go Ikem Ekwonu. If I said that right, Ekwonu.
I think we're calling him Icky.
Icky. We'll call him Icky Eek. I'm not sure, but out of NC State, offensive lineman. They need help up front. I think this will really, really put them in a good position moving forward. So put the strength in the trenches. That's always usually a good place to start, and I think that's a great pick. What do you think, Dave?
I like that. I actually thought about that at 4, but I just thought, is that really? I didn't want to take a chance of an edge being gone at 7. So, And I guess I should have looked and said, well, Panthers are picking at 6. They're probably not gonna get an edge. But I was going back and forth between Ikem and Karlaftis. So,
yeah.
but I think they're both solid picks for the Giants. The only thing I would say about and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Kenny. I think that the Giants need more interior line help than they do tackles. Correct?
Yeah, and there's a couple out there that can, that's
But
like
I
we're
wonder.
talking about trade back. I think taking them this early, 5 and 7 would be a little too early for them, but it's never too early in my opinion. But I think
he's
we
a
need
generational
interior
guy.
center or guard help as well. But I will say if we land Icky, he's my number one tackle on the board, and if you can get him at 7,
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer, and pair him up with Thomas on the other end, I think we can build a future there for our offensive line. So I'd be very, very happy if we got Icky at number 7, and I'd be happy with the edge rusher as well at number 5. So those are our 2 picks, and we don't trade back. I give it a solid A- to a B+. The only thing I would do would be switch those picks around so because I took the quarterback at 6, but you might not get Icky at 7, so I would just flip-flop the picks. But all jokes aside, A- on the 2 picks for the Giants.
Okay.
I'm happy as a Giants fan.
And I'll go ahead, Keith.
I was just going to say I had Karlaftis as my number 2 edge rusher. I had him in front of Thibodeau. So I in my opinion, as a Giants fan, I would be very, very happy getting him even at that position.
Right.
Figuring that the Lions had passed on him. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think, and I've heard rumors today that the Lions are looking at Malik Willis, probably a guy to sit behind Goff for a couple of years, and then turn him loose. So I don't know if Willis is a day one starter. So Eddie chimes in. This is Sis from over at K&K. Giants need an offensive tackle and edge rusher. Period. Yep. All right, so we got both of them for you there, Sis. So you should be happy with us. Good thing we didn't.
I'm happy with
we
David
didn't let
Keith's
Kenny
picks.
pick them. So
no, I didn't pick them, Sis. So they should be good picks.
So all right, now the Atlanta Falcons are on the board. You took my pick, Kenny. I was thinking that this is a perfect spot for Malik Willis. To go there and sit behind Matt Ryan for a couple of years. And learn that system and then step in there. So being that he's gone, the Falcons are another team that need help pretty much all over the place. I mean, I think they need receivers. They need a quarterback. They need a cornerback. They need edge defenders. They need safeties. So I'm going to go with probably the next best cornerback on the board right now, and after Stingley's gone, and this guy may even be number 1. I mean, there's some back and forth between is Sauce Gardner the number 1 corner or Stingley. So I'm gonna go with Sauce Gardner. I like his name. So I mean, it's not his real name. I think his real name is Ahim or something like that. I'd have to double check.
Ahmed Gardner.
Ahmed. Yeah, he goes by Sauce.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, out of Cincinnati, good player. So I think
stat about him, it got tarnished a little bit in the bowl game against Alabama because Jameson Williams got hurt. But I definitely wanted to see that matchup because all year he did not give up 1 touchdown.
Right.
Wow.
And only 22 passes. It was a crazy number.
I don't think he's given up a touchdown his whole career.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
I thought I read that somewhere, and if somebody knows for certain, if they could confirm that for us, but I swore I read that somewhere that he did not give up a single touchdown pass his entire career at Cincinnati.
Well,
that's amazing.
A little spoiler for next week. I'll have to give you my pick for number 9 because I know I won't be able to join.
Oh, that's right, you won't be here.
But I'll make sure I'll give you my Broncos pick. But it was going to be Sauce Gardner to pair up with Sertan, but now I can't do that.
That would be nice to have.
But since you took Sauce, I got to do my homework now and find somebody. I'll do my homework all week and find that perfect pick at number 9.
All right.
Broncos.
And me and
Counting on you, buddy.
Yeah.
I won't let you guys down.
So, all right. Yeah, definitely don't let us down. So, all right. So Keith came up with a fun exercise here. So you're the GM, and first we're going to start with the bottom 5 teams salary cap wise.
All right.
So tell us out of these which team you would want and why. So being that Keith invented this game, we'll let Keith go first, and then Kenny, you can go first, and then I'll go first. And if we all pick the same, we all pick the same. But no, the thing was who you want to stay away from, correct, Keith?
Stay away in the bad ones. Right?
On the bottom 5, yes.
Who would you not want to be? Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Who's you're the GM.
All right.
You've just inherited one of these 5 teams.
All right.
So I will say, just as a little addendum, as of about 24 hours ago, the Saints were at like 76 and some change over the cap, and they did some restructuring. So at least that brought them a little bit more into check. So for me, I mean, this is quite the lineup. Obviously, Vikings, Rams, Cowboys, Packers, Saints. Names that we're all used to seeing kind of in contention for the playoffs every single year. But the one team that I guess there's possibly 2 teams, but the one team for sure that you got to look at and just say, boy, they're in a world of hurt. And I kind of understand now why Sean Payton left. Mm-hmm. So my pick has to be the Saints, right? At $42 million over the cap, already restructured 3 deals. Your franchise quarterback retires a couple years ago. Now you're probably your best franchise. Well, one of the best head coaches in your franchise history is now left. And you're $42 million still over the cap. So question, that's a hard. Yeah, go ahead.
Because Jameis Winston is a free agent. So are they tied to Taysom Hill now? I mean, is he the quarterback by default?
It's going to be really tough, right? The one thing that Sean Payton I made a kind of mistake on was Taysom Hill, it seems, right? As much as you might like the kid, they certainly overpaid him for the performance that he's able to put on the field, and no one's going to take that contract off of your hands.
Right.
And it's going to tie you up something fierce in order to try to bring somebody else in. It might tie it to Taysom Hill for at least 1 year. It'll be interesting to see what else they can do, because $42 million over the cap and you really don't have a QB. That's not a place you want to be at.
Yep. Wait till waiver day starts.
Yeah, right.
There'll be a whole bunch of Saints names flying around, and trying to trade people, to get some cap relief. So it's going to be interesting. Kenny, who would you not want to be?
Keith nailed it with the Saints, but I'll throw another team out there because I figured, I'm looking at this board, like who else would I not want to be GM? I would not want to be the GM of the Green Bay Packers. And number 1 on that list, you're $30 million in the hole, and you may get people sending you death threats if you trade Aaron Rodgers, all joking aside. So you got to have that on your mind every day, the Aaron Rodgers drama. And you're either going to be a hero or a zero for the guy who traded Aaron Rodgers away, and we've been miserable for the next 10 years, or you could be the other way around. You could sign Aaron Rodgers to $50 million, like you say, and then be in the bottom 5 in salary cap for the next 3 to 5 years for as long as he's in Green Bay. So to me, that's a bad situation over there in Green Bay. Even if Green Bay keeps Aaron Rodgers, I would not want to be the GM over there in Green Bay. But you nailed it with the Saints. That would have been my top choice.
This is going to be creative financing.
Green Bay would be a clear number 2 for me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Creative financing. So, and just to be different, I'm going to go with the Rams. And the reason I'm going with the Rams have 0 draft picks, so Sean McVay even said, "Why would we go to the combine? We have no draft picks."
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're 21, almost $22 million in the hole on your cap. You got a whole bunch of UFAs.
Yeah.
It would be different if you could just let the UFAs go and get some cap relief. But how are you going to replace them?
Yeah.
You can't go out and attract free agents. You can't go draft people to replace them. So I think they may have a few draft picks, and I'm gonna check that just to be certain. But I don't think they have a lot of.
I think their first pick is the 4th round, if I remember
Might
right.
even be later, 5th, 4th or 5th. You're right.
Yeah, I believe it is too. And let me see if I can find this whole thing.
And I believe they don't have a 1st-round draft pick for 4 years.
Right. Yeah. So I'm definitely not wanting to be in there. So yeah, it looks like the Rams do not. The Rams have pick 103 in the 3rd round, which is a compensatory pick.
Oh.
So compensatory picks will save them a little bit.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're pick 141, 174.
Yeah, I think it's all the 1st rounders that they just have decimated themselves with mainly,
And then in the seventh round, they have 3 picks. So they got 210, 211, and 213. So it'll be interesting to see how their GM handles that. And maybe some of those players start restructuring if they really want to try to, run it back and bring home back-to-back championships. So, but you got Von Miller's free agent. Odell Beckham Jr. is a free agent. There's a couple other big names I saw that were free agents. I don't think Aaron Donald is, but he would. So it'll be interesting. So, all right, let's.
You asked me this question. Fast forward a year or two. Those rookie contracts in the Cowboys, Diggs and Parsons.
Oh yeah,
they're going to be in trouble. So my answer will change.
Well, and the nice thing is, 2 to 3 years down the road, you got time to fix that. You have time to get ahead of it. You got Dak that you can, restructure his deal and convert a lot of his salary over to signing bonuses and things like that. So,
you should have been talking to the Saints.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Kenny, we're going to let you go first here. So, top 5, which one would you want to be?
I will say one disclaimer: if we're all in agreement on the Bengals, the next one is the Broncos in line. I don't know if that's going to be the case. So,
actually, I'm not going to take the Bengals.
Very good.
Because my reason for not taking the Bengals is they got to the Super Bowl this year, and if I'm a new GM, I can't get much better except win the Super Bowl. So we're almost there. So I'm looking at it. If I'm a new GM coming in, which team would I want? I would want the Jacksonville Jaguars with almost $57 million. One win and 2 wins in the last 2 years. Can't get much worse. So you can only get better. You win 5 or 6 games, you're going to be a hero in Jacksonville going forward. You got to potentially. You should have a franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. We'll see. You can't say he is yet because he's only been in the league 1 year. You got nice young offensive weapons for him, and you got some defensive players that you got to build around, and you got a veteran head coach. So having $57 million to spend this year, that's a no-brainer for me because I think I can get that team at least 6 wins this year and go forward years to come each year.
Keith, who would you want?
Oh, you're going to defer to me first. Well, I thought about this list a lot, and it's kind of funny because I was thinking about the Bengals, but then there's also one other team on this list I really like. Well, not personally, but to be a GM of. I have just one team I need to take out as the Chargers, and I've got $56.2 million to do it. I got a franchise QB. I've got receivers. I got a running back. All I really need to do is tighten up my line, maybe get a little secondary help, and I've got 56 million, and I haven't, I've got a good draft capital in front of me. I've got the Broncos who are kind of struggling right now. Don't know what they're going to do as far as a QB until that's decided. I think I've got them in the clear. I've got the Raiders in the clear as well. Seems like I have their number. I just got to go after the Chargers. I'm sorry, the Chiefs. So I think I'd take the Chargers. I think the future looks pretty dang bright.
And one more thing with the Jaguars, the division. You don't know who you got. Davis Mills, quarterback in the Texans. You got, you got. You don't know who's over there in Indianapolis,
right.
So you can work your way up the ladder in no time there as a GM.
Yeah. And when I first saw this too, I said this is a no-brainer. I want to be the GM of the Bengals because they have so much talent. They don't have a lot of holes to fill. They can attract people at, lower dollar amounts. It's sort of like you got superstar, like when we had Peyton Manning and people would come and they would play for less money because they wanted to make that championship run. Is Joe Burrow going to be that type of guy? Is that roster going to attract some of those top name free agents? And are they going to want to go there and take a little less money than they could get in Detroit, or Chicago and go play for a championship? So, but for this exercise, I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Oh, wow.
I like Mike McDaniel as the head coach, and I think they can really build something good there. That team played very well in the the middle to latter part of the season. What they roll off 7 wins in a row.
7 in a row.
So, they have some talent there. They beat teams like the Patriots, and they weren't beaten like the has-beens either. They were, beating good teams. If you get someone in there that can work with Tua, and put him into a system that he can excel in, you got a quarterback for the long term, and now you just start filling in pieces around him. And players want to go to Miami. They want to go to South Beach, So who doesn't want to go to South Beach?
They love those taxes too. That helps a lot.
Right. No tax in the state of Florida. See, another thing you got working for you, Kenny. No state tax in the state of Florida.
That's it. We got Jacksonville and Miami there. Let's go.
That's right. But yeah, I think I would go with the Dolphins. So
interesting. It just goes to show you anything's possible, I guess, in both sides. Like I said, you flip the other side of that list and you saw teams that you expect to be in the playoffs every single year, names in there, and this might be the year that you don't see that. You also see all these guys with all the capital and all the money to spend. It can really turn a franchise pretty quick, especially when you start getting people excited. Teams that we picked, go down to Florida, go play with Tua. Go to a team that won 7 in a row. Go over to the Bengals, and Joe Burrow, or the Chargers, or the Jacksonville Jaguars, with a brand new fresh start and what looks like a fantastic pathway to playoffs too.
And the team you pick, Keith, is really intriguing. Los Angeles is a good attractant too.
Yeah.
People want to be out there with all the celebrities and everything else, and they're not far away. They may want to think about getting their coach some lessons on clock management and timeout management and when to go for it and when not to go for it on fourth down and things like that. So
yeah, but if you think about it that way, they're the only team that I can really think of that's kind of mid-tier, right? They're not sitting. You kind of have the Bengals that are sitting right off a Super Bowl high. Then you have teams like the Jets, and you have teams like the Jaguars, and you have teams like Miami that you think of as a struggling franchises, and then you have the Chargers. No one thinks of them as necessarily struggling right now. They just need to take that next step.
And we got Matt breaking some news for us. Cliff said he expects Denver to take a QB in the first 2 rounds. So that wouldn't shock me. I don't know if they take one at 9, if they're sitting there, especially if Malik Willis gets taken by Jacksonville. Not Jacksonville, Carolina. And then if the Giants decide, we want to go quarterback and, somebody to replace, and takes a Kenny Pickett or someone to to take over for Daniel Jones moving in the future. I mean, is there really anyone there you would want to pick at 9? You know, do you then look and see who wants to trade back in? Does a Pittsburgh want to trade up, you know, and grab Ritter right there at 9 or whatever? I know Matt's high on Ritter. I'm not really high on Ritter, so and Matt's.
I think Denver's in a prime spot to trade back, even if it's just like only a couple spots with like a team like Washington, or a bunch of spots back, like you just said, Dave, like a team like Pittsburgh. This draft is going to be definitely interesting because I feel it's going to be one of them drafts where that first quarterback goes, you're going to start seeing teams, everybody says there's 5 quarterbacks on the same level, but who knows, Dave? You may be the GM of the Steelers. We only have 2 guys on our list that we want as quarterback, and Malik Willis was one of them, and he got picked by Carolina at 6, so we better move up now with Denver and go get that quarterback we want, whether it's Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral, for example, or Ritter. We better go get him at 9 because he's not going to be here at 20, and you're in prime position, kind of like the Giants last year when we didn't get I thought we were going to be in line for Devontae Smith, but the trades went through, and the Bears called up, and we shipped out that pick for them, and they got Justin Fields, and we got the Bears pick this year, which turned out to be number 7. So it turned out to be a good pick. Yeah, we moved back to 19 from 11 to 19 last year, and I could see the similar thing with possibly the Broncos or Giants or a couple of these other teams that may not be looking for a quarterback in those top 10 picks.
Yeah, I mean, there may be something that somebody else wants to move up and get. So,
Dave, if all quarterbacks are on the table at 9, do you take a QB?
Oh, I do. I take Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
I think Kenny Pickett is a guy that can be a day 1 starter.
There you go. You heard it here first.
So if he's on the board at 9, I take him.
So
don't let that influence anything, Kenny.
And
I don't want to say I don't like him, but I do want to say he reminds me of, like, is there much improvement than Drew Lock there? I don't see it. The only quarterback that is different than Drew Lock in this draft would be a Malik Willis. Like the other quarterbacks I see, do I want to pick Kenny Pickett at 9 when I got Drew Lock there? That maybe give him a fair shot this year as opposed to a Kenny Pickett, and you're going to have Drew Lock and Kenny Pickett fighting for the starting job, and they're going to be equal. You're going to have 2 equals on the team. That's how I look at it.
I think if you draft Kenny Pickett, you're probably trading Drew Lock.
I'm going to try and trade Drew Lock somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. So I get that.
And you just roll with Rippon as your backup or whatever. So, but
I
like Pickett and I like Malik Willis. So
I know it's short on time. I want to see if we can do one thing that would take about a minute.
Okay.
USFL.
Yes.
We're all going to – I got to wait for us to all to watch it. And I think I spoke to Dave about this. But we all got to pick one team tonight.
Okay.
Next time I'm on, we'll pick our second team. Matt will be in the – we're going to pick Matt's first team tonight. He's getting stuck to Michigan Panthers, by the way, because Paxton Lynch is on there, and he's not on the
Matt's
show.
Team.
So we're
all right,
giving
Matt gets the Michigan Panthers.
And I'm going to make a deal. So we're going to have 2 teams. The rules are going to be so one of our teams is going to win the championship. The winner will get that team's jersey for their collection.
Okay. Now, are they going to get that at the same time you eat that hot chip there, Kenny?
Yeah, I got to eat that hot chip still too. And been touched, still trying to get Matt his fantasy football money, but we got a lot of things.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know. I'll throw some of the sweet heat on the hot chip.
All right, who wants to go next?
Well, I want to. I think by default, I want the New Jersey Generals. If nobody has a problem with that,
I don't have a problem with that.
I was a New Jersey General guy back in the day.
I see Keith with a little tear in his eye when you gave Matt the Michigan Panthers, because I know Keith wanted Paxton Lynch as his quarterback.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah, he could break out that old Bronco Paxton Lynch jersey.
Yeah.
If it makes any difference, that was their 12th round pick, not their first round pick, guys. Now slow down just a little bit.
All right, Keith, you want to go?
Sure. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Breakers.
Oh man, that was my team.
See if Kyle Slaughter can take them all the way.
Yep. So, well, I'm going to go because my wife's a Steelers fan. Then I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Maulers. But would it be smart to go Birmingham because all the games are being played down there, so they get home games
it's crazy. Like they're all
every
getting
week
down there.
Yeah, why are they doing that? But the playoffs won't be played there.
Canton, Ohio, I think.
Is that where they're going to be?
Yep.
So
Hall of Fame Stadium.
Interesting.
And then we'll come back like a snake, Dave. You'll get the first pick in the next one when I'm back on in 2 weeks.
All right,
buddy.
Second team.
So I got the Pittsburgh Maulers, huh?
Somebody will win, and somebody will get a jersey for the.
What teams are left?
What do we got? Tampa Bay.
You got the Birmingham Stallions.
Tampa Bay, Birmingham. Who else is there? Philadelphia,
Houston.
I think.
Philadelphia
has a team.
Stars. Yep.
And does Houston have a team?
Yep, the Houston
Gamblers.
Gamblers.
Are they the Gamblers again?
Gamblers, yep.
So you got the Tampa Bay Bandits, the Stallions from Birmingham, Houston Gamblers, and the
We can honestly pick
Philadelphia
now
Stars.
If you want. We can honestly pick now if you want to get it over.
It's not going to take long, is it?
No, let's do it now. Dave, you're up. I'll write them down. Who we got here?
I can't go anything Alabama, so I'm going to go Houston, being that it's close to Southwest Louisiana. So I'll go with the Houston Gamblers here.
All right.
Jim Kelly's going to come out of retirement, be the quarterback.
Just like that, huh?
Yeah.
Just like that.
Let me take a look here real quick. I think I'll go with the Tampa Bay Bandits.
Okay.
That would have been my pick.
Who are you going to give to Matt?
I'm going to give Matt Philadelphia. I cannot take a Philadelphia team, being a Giants fan. And I got New Jersey Generals. I can't have New Jersey and Philadelphia, so I got to take Birmingham.
All right. So, Matt, if you're listening, you have the Michigan Panthers and Paxton Lynch.
Because
the Philadelphia Stars.
would win, and I'd have to have a Philadelphia jersey on my wall.
Well, Michigan won the first USFL championship. They beat Philadelphia. You know where that game was played? Mile High Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Yep. The inaugural USFL championship game was at Mile High Stadium.
A couple coaches. Jeff Fisher's coaching Michigan.
Yep.
I know Riley, the old Charger coach, is coaching the Generals. Not Lincoln Riley. I forget his first name. He coached the Chargers. He coached Oregon State. He's over there. And then there's Kevin Sumlin's coaching, and there's a couple other guys.
Todd Haley
got a spot. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. He left Pittsburgh, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bart Andrus, who is the Philadelphia coach. I'm just reading the list. I don't know the guy. So
there was an international coach too. I forget who that. Maybe it was Bart Andrus. I'm not sure. But it should be fun. Something to watch. You know, something to get us watching.
Who's the coach of the Pittsburgh Maulers?
That would be, let me see here. That would be Kirby Wilson.
Okay.
Kirby Wilson. Here, I'll run through this list. We got Kirby Wilson with the Maulers. We got Kevin Sumlin with the Houston Gamblers.
Okay.
We've got Mike Riley with the New Jersey Generals.
I couldn't think of his name.
Skip Holtz with the Birmingham Stallions.
Oh, Skip. All right, I got Skip Holtz.
Todd Haley with the Bandits. Jeff Fisher with the Panthers. And Larry Fedora with the New Orleans Breakers.
That's the guy. I think that was an international coach, Larry Fedora.
Bart Andrus was former head coach for the Amsterdam Admirals, Toronto Argonauts, Omaha Nighthawks, and the World Bowl 8 champion.
Wow. All right. Well,
this
will be interesting.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it definitely will. It'll give us some reason to watch these games. Yeah. Plus, it's football. So
you know, as Bronco fans, you guys as Bronco fans, the Panthers are going to win it, and Paxton Lynch is going to get to raise that.
He'll be the
USFL
MVP.
trophy.
He'll be the MVP of the USFL.
And we get Matt. Matt will
So-
have a Paxton Lynch Michigan Panthers jersey.
Yes.
That'd be beautiful.
I might be rooting for the Panthers just to see him wear that jersey on
Just
there.
to see him don it.
All right, everybody. Hey, we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate everybody who stopped by, threw some comments to us. Remember, we'll be back on Mondays from 6 o'clock next week. We will not be blessed with Kenny's presence, so we got to make fun of him like we make fun of Matt when he's not.
I'll be listening and probably be able to comment in.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay.
So you can make fun of me as much as you want. I appreciate it.
All right.
And I'll make sure I send you, Dave, and Keith in our group chat. I'll make sure I send you an analysis of the Broncos pick detail.
Maybe we'll see if John Beelan from the New York Jets wants to come on.
There you
We'll
go.
probably be able to join you guys if you do 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
We'll have a special guest.
He seems to be a little jealous of your new gig there, Kenny. So maybe we could bring him on. So we'll have to see. Maybe Matt will come on for a show. Who knows? So
Matt's MIA.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. Thanks a lot. Have a good evening, and we will see you next Monday. Oh, everybody, remember the combine starts what? Wednesday?
Oh, Dave,
is it Wednesday?
I think Wednesday. But Dave, you forgot something.
Yeah.
Keith got you last week. I'm going to get you this week. Don't you have a sponsor that usually sponsors the show?
Yeah, I don't know why I keep forgetting about this. So we got Willow Seasonings and Blends, manufacturer of barbecue seasonings. Head over to their website. Got a sale right now, $6.50 a bottle. That goes through March 19th. So head on over there and put a little spice into your life.
And I will say I had the high elevation last week. I sent Dave some pictures. We did some of the cheaper cut steaks, but they were
How'd that turn out for you?
Sirloins with the high elevation. And I always throw a little, with corn on the cob, I like to throw a little sweet heat or sweet smoke sprinkled on the corn on the cob with some butter. And that's
next time you do steaks, take that high elevation and the feisty lime.
Yes.
And put a little of both on there.
Will do.
I'll tell you what, that's pretty good. So
the last thing I have is, Kenny, do you have a squirrel update?
Squirrel update is hunting season ended, but we not get any more squirrel.
Did he get any squirrels?
One. So we got a little. I didn't get.
What's he gonna make a corn dog out of that or something?
He pan fried it and gave it to the dog for a little treat.
Okay, all right.
Because it wasn't much at all,
Not worth the effort.
Not worth the effort, but
the dog loved it.
In the future plans, though.
Yeah, I'm sure the dog loved it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We will see you next Monday.